Hello, hello, hello. It's your girl, Dr. Feelgood. And today I'm going to be talking about family secrets. It's a topic that I think is really important. It's something that a lot of people do not pay enough attention to. They only assume what's important is what's going on right now in my life and what I'm doing right now in my life. And that's cool and that's cool. But sometimes I think it's important to know about your past and to kind of find out some things, kind of be a detective, because sometimes when you find out stuff, it kind of makes what's going on in your life right now makes more sense. So one of the things that brought this up for me, this past weekend, I went to the movies and I saw Madea's Big Happy Family. And I have to admit, the movie was a bit over the top. Tyler Perry, he really pumped it up this time. It was mad funny, but it was a bit over the top. But one of the things I will commend Perry on is the fact that he brought up the concept of family secrets and just kind of how that plays out. And I think some critics have kind of looked down upon Tyler Perry for his character Madea and some of her antics and things like that. But to Perry's credit, I like the way he approached it because he brought it out as families in conflict. They're having these issues. It looks like something that happened, but nobody really knows what it's about. Sisters are fighting, and I'm sorry if you haven't seen the movie, kind of time this out, but I'm not going to give it all away, but I will say this. Ultimately, what comes out is that one of the young ladies in the movie was sexually abused by an uncle when she was like 13 and she had this child. And her mother had basically kept the secret. And she knew about it, and it just kind of festers in the family. And it gets to a point where sisters don't like each other. This woman is married and her husband don't get along. She's very angry, it seems. And so it might just be assumed that she's just another angry black woman, when in reality, this woman is hurting. She has got wounds on the inside, but on the outside, nobody can see them. That's what sexual abuse is. You have these wounds, and nobody can see them, but they're like these gaping holes, and they hurt and they bleed, but not bleed in the sense of where people can see it, but just emotionally, the pain of going through something like that. And it's a pain I know personally. But I will say this, Tyler Perry bringing it up kind of brings it to light in a way that people may not have looked at it before. And so I know people personally, you may think, that young lady, she's just crazy and something is wrong with this girl. And then you find out later on, when she was a teenager, she was sexually abused and was forced to get an abortion and things like that. And it just kind of, they never dealt with it, basically. And that's what happens sometimes. People just don't deal with it. Other people don't understand. It's like family may be pushing you, just let it go. It happened like 5 years ago or something. We're trying to move past this. And I will say this, I don't know about for other ethnicities. I can only speak from an African American perspective, being that is what I am, that's what I identify as. And I think it's a problem that's more prevalent in our community for the simple fact that I think there is this idea of we need to deal with things on our own. And so back in the day, civil rights movement, we kind of stepped up and did things on our own. During slavery, we had to do things on our own because we were afraid of what was going to happen. And so I think like the Black Panthers and such, and they kind of policed their own and did things like that. And they were great causes, but they had some issues with it. But the purpose was to kind of help out in a way that we felt that other ethnicities were not doing. And so there was definitely a purpose behind it. However, fast forward 2000s, 90s, 80s, whatever, where we are today, 2011, there is no need to keep family secrets like this, sexual abuse, things like that, because people are hurting. And how can you heal a wound if you don't even know it's there? Or you know it's there, but you're not getting medical attention for it. If I go outside right now and I fall and hurt my leg, and let's not even say that I fell and hurt it. Let's say that I had a cousin and he was the one, he hit me. He cut my leg. And I told my mom, or I told an aunt, I was like, you know what, such and such, he hurt my leg and now it's bleeding. and they told me, you know what, let's just cover it up with some cloth and you'll be okay. Go back outside and play. It's not a big deal. And I said, but it's hurting. It's really hurting. I was like, and they told me, no, just, we're not even going to do nothing about that right now. Let's not do nothing about it. We'll deal with this. We don't have the money. It's not a big issue or whatever. And the cut continues to hurt. And they're just steady telling me to cover it up. After a couple of days, it could get infected. I could lose my leg. Gangrene could set. I could lose my life. Just all kinds of negative things that could happen from not healing a wound. But if there is a wound, usually people are going to take care of it because they can see it. With sexual abuse, that is not often the case. These are wounds that are deep inside the heart and emotional. And sexual abuse affects you on so many levels. It's not just a physical thing. It's much deeper than that. It's emotional. It's spiritual. Our bodies are our protective state. Our skin keeps bad things out and good things in. And so when someone violates that, it is a deeply wounding experience, but maybe not something that people can see on the surface. And so in terms of family secrets, getting back to that, family secrets, there's a purpose for them. The family may think keeping something like sexual abuse a secret protects the family. It keeps the family healthy because people on the outside may not know it. And if the family has a certain image, we want to maintain that image. And so if something gets out, let's say that Uncle Lester was sexually abusing his niece. But Uncle Lester's a very respected person in the community. If something like that gets out, it looks bad not only on Uncle Lester, but it may look bad on the family. And that's at least the thought of. And so the goal is, let's keep this in the family. And so Uncle Lester knows he did it. Maybe the child's mother knows. The child knows. But there may be not even everyone else in the family knows. But then if you have the child grows up and gets married and is having marital issues, she does not feel sexually responsive to her husband. She's just hurting and she's been a good girl. She's not even been out there acting wild, but maybe her husband was the next person that she was intimate with. Even still, her being intimate with her husband can bring up triggers for what happened with Uncle Lester. She never dealt with that. And also you have the idea of unforgiveness. If she's not forgiven Uncle Lester, if she feels that this was her fault, if she's not forgiving Mom for not sharing, for not seeking prosecution against the uncle, you have all these other wounds, and it could just, as you can see, it can get very complicated. And so I think I wish there was a national day of when family secrets came out. Because this world is hurting, it's not helping, and we think keeping these secrets is helping people, it's protecting the family. It's really hurting the family. You can't heal a wound that no one knows about. You can't. It's just that simple, and it gets worse, and I hope that changes. I really do. I have made a deal with my children, at least, is that we're not going to do that. Whatever I done, whatever they do, we can talk about it. It's not going to be a secret, because keeping secrets, they say sins live in secrecy. And so I believe that. And so I've just made a vow that we're not going to do that. And I think that's a positive thing to do. And I wish more families would do it. Unfortunately, I think it's not so much even sometimes the younger members of the family. Maybe it's the older members of the family just keeping that same idea alive and thinking that if I reveal certain things, it looks bad on the family. And again, that's not really true. We just need to be more upfront. And maybe we realize, okay, maybe if Uncle Lester did this, maybe we find out this happened to Uncle Lester himself. And that helps us understand it. Not to take away from what he did, but just to understand it better. And so we can set up perimeters so that this does not continue to keep happening. Anyway, that was my thoughts on family secrets. I'd be interested in hearing what you guys think. If there's family secrets in your family that just came out, or how you're dealing with that idea, I'd be interested in hearing back from you. Email is drfeelgood1913@hotmail.com.